5 versus 5? What kind of sicko is running this rumble? Hey, is there a doctor on hand? Ask it for my opponents. Wait, hold up. Are we getting paid for this?
What is up, guys? Welcome back. It is time to show you guys how to play Sett. So this is a champion that works as a bruiser but also as a tank, so you can play a lot of different builds. The build I'm going to show you this game is the more viable and the most used build in higher elos and in lower elos as well. You want to be starting off with your E most of the time on this champion against melee matchups especially, because it gives you a lot of pressure level 1. You drag in people, and if you hit people from both sides, it is going to stun everyone you drag in. And then you also have the alternating punches on your passive, so it actually makes this early game really strong if you make sure to abuse it well. So when your E is ready, you just walk up and then you make sure that there is a minion or something behind. While you're dragging in the target from the front, that means that they will get stunned, and then you can just keep punching them with auto attacks. And that also resulted in a free kill, so that's nice to have. And then that Q, on top of that damage, you also get some bonus movement speed when you're running towards enemy champions. So that does help when you want to chase people and make sure they are staying within range of your E. That's a bit of a unfortunate flash, but that is a combo that is very good to know. So your W, you can flash with it, so if you can predict the opponent's flash or dashes, then you can also flash with them while you're using that W, so you follow them up and still get the damage off. Now this W ability, guys, so when you take damage, this passive bar is going to stack up, and that basically means that if the passive bar is fully stacked up, then your ultimate is also going to, or your W is going to deal the maximum amount of damage. Not your ultimate, but your W. And this scales off of your maximum HP, so that's why if you see a lot of full HP builds on this champion, it is to maximize that W damage. Now that is a lot of fun to play with, of course, but if you want a more viable build that also makes you super strong as a champion and not just as a one-shotting machine, then you want to be using this build. But basically, you go into a budget Super Saiyan when you take a lot of damage, and when you use your W, when that happens, that's when it's going to deal a lot of damage, as long as you make sure that you hit people in the center. Because that is the only part that actually deals true damage. But you want to save your W because you can see it stacking up during fights, so you want to use it at the end if possible, so you can get like as much damage on it as possible. So just wait until you have it stacked up. You just try to like stay between the enemy minions and the enemy champion, so you stun them away, and when they're trying to walk up in order to last hit something, that's when you Q towards them because it gives you bonus movement speed, and then you press that E to stun them. If you're hitting targets on both sides, it is going to stun, and then just follow up with auto attacks, and then you can use the W at the end if you're sure that the target will not return trading. That's like a basic way of playing him in the laning phase. You go for these traits, and then of course when the target is low HP, that's when you go for the finishing kill with the ignite. And there is a gank coming in. And you can see that shield you're getting, guys, that actually is going to help you out a ton. That shield you get when you use your W, you can see that is the only reason I survived right here. Or survived that first fight at least. Because otherwise I would have died to the ignite. I still ended up dying, but you know what I mean. So that shield actually makes you super tanky. And that's also why if you build him you know, like a full HP build just for the W one-shotting, it also gives you a massive shield. And our support, Kill, DC'd. No one knows why, probably some internet issues. Now just looking to set up a freeze here, because we are winning the lane. And if you just play the laning phase normally without thinking about wave management, if the opponent just stays back and plays it safe, you will not be able to abuse your lead as much. But if you manage your minion waves like I'm doing right now, guys, even if they're playing safe, they're losing a lot. They're losing the entire minion wave. And if you're playing even more aggressive, you can walk a bit up, so you also zone them away from the XP. So they will be losing gold and XP as well. But that is a bit brutal to do right here, so I'm not doing it. I'm just keeping the freeze for a little bit right here. We already extended our CS lead by a ton, and whenever he tries to walk up, last hit or fix the wave, that's when we will engage. So just keep that position like between the enemy minions and the enemy champion. You just zone them away, and Sett of course is a champion that does well into a lot of matchups, so it's going to be very rare that actually somebody can destroy you. Even if they can, you have that HP regen on your passive, so you're going to heal back up. But we have kept the freeze for a while now. It is going to push back really soon because we don't have enough minions, but you can see that short freeze we did already allowed us to extend that CS lead by a ton. Also that Q, because it works as an auto attack reset, what you want to do is that you get 2 normal auto attacks in, so you have like the left and right punch, and as soon as that right punch is out, that's when you reset that auto attack with your Q, so you get a left and right punch once again. It comes out a lot faster. But just keep the wave as it is, guys, just farm up. And also, like when you use your Q, guys, it also deals damage or bonus damage based on the maximum health. So you have maximum health damage, and you also have true damage on your W, so it's a champion that also does very well into tanks. Especially if you see champions like the Shen picked up a lot, you can pick Sett, because he's a known counter pick. We don't even have to use the ultimate to take him down, so we are keeping that for now. But a lot of people know what it does, and it also makes you unstoppable while you're using it. You're going to pick up an opponent and then smash them into another area, and if you hit a lot of people with it, like the enemy champions, that's going to deal a lot of damage. And it's going to deal even more damage if you manage to pick up a tank and knock them into his own team. Because the damage of your ultimate scales off of your bonus AD, but also based on the target's bonus health. So if you get to pick up a Cho'Gath with lots of ultimate stacks, you might even be able to one-shot a squishy champion with that ultimate alone, if you knock him into that AD carry. So that's also another reason that he becomes great against tanks. Not just in the landing phase, but also in teamfights. And if you ever need a tank, then he can also be the tank for your team. So he can fit in a lot of different roles, and he's also fun to play. Because you have so many different build paths that you can go for, so it's never going to be the same. And his kit is of course pretty simple, so it's also pretty easy to play. Not really any difficult mechanics. The important one you have to know about is the W flash. Because like if there's a low HP champion and you're using W, for the finishing kill they're going to flash out. But if you time it well, You can also flash while that W is channeling, so you still end up getting the kill. Yes, a tilt flash, or it is a mistake. I think it's a mistake though. But yeah, they're going to get very tilted when you freeze the lane like this, guys. Like, they will end up making a lot more mistakes that you can abuse. Whenever they come up and try to fix the wave, you can just walk in. And because you're staying between the enemy champion and the minions, every single time you E, it is going to result in a stun, so you will be able to get off a lot of free auto attacks. You'll just be pushing the wave now. When you want to push, you can like drag all the minions towards you with the E, and then just W through them. Clear out the wave faster, but you don't really have good wave clear until you get the Titanic Hydra, which of course is another part of this build. Like, you will still be able to one-shot champions with this build. While also being strong as a top laner, as a split pusher, and a team fighter. Just picking up another free kill, and now when you push for the tower, let the left and right punch come out first, and then reset the right punch with your Q as soon as it came out, so you maximize the DPS you get. Because you're abusing that auto attack reset timer. So we got the blades, we can just back off here because we are going for the Blade of the Ruined King. I'm not going to take out this tower yet. I want it to clear out the entire wave to deny Garen as much CS as possible and also XP. So I got the Blade of the Ruined King, guys, and of course we get it because the item is so OP. It is the strongest one item early game power spike you can get on melee champions, or most of them at least, because of how strong it is, and then of course it's also absolutely amazing on Sett. Your DPS becomes insane and you just become even better at destroying bruisers and tanks as well. And of course also squishy targets. You saw that ultimate right there? They'll be suppressed while they're inside that ultimate, so they cannot flash out of it. But as soon as they land, they will be able to, like the Yone did. It did not help him out, but it's possible. And because that is possible, be a bit patient with when you're using your W. If they have flash up, then try to predict them using it right after that ultimate duration finishing out. So you still can get a good hit with that W, because later on in the game, it is going to be most of your damage. So if you miss that, you're going to lose out on a lot of free damage. Just letting the tower take out a couple of minions before I take it out, and then we just keep pushing. We are focused on being a better split pusher instead of team fighter with this build, but you can definitely be team fighting as well, because we do get a bunch of tanky items. But just keep pushing it out here. The good thing about this champion is that he's very tanky and his auto attacks also hit like a nuke. Especially when you combine it with your Q. Like, if you get a lead on this champion, you can just auto attack people to death. Does not matter if it's a Yasuo, Yone, Pantheon, Renekton, or whatever you're playing against. You'll be able to destroy all of them. Just keep pushing it out here, and then we can invade the enemy jungle if you want to deny the buffs, or even to get a kill on the enemy jungler. Can't do much right now, so just chilling top side, but there are 3 people looking to kill us. Our jungle is a bit far behind though, like XP and goal wise. That's a bit sad. Well, we got a kill, but that kinda blows, cause I was sitting on a lot of gold, and if I based and got the item before this fight started, that would have been an easy triple kill even if I messed up everything. Because it's so hard to like punish this champion when he's ahead. Because even if you miss your abilities, you deal so much damage with your auto attacks. And our mid lane is also popping off, so this game is pretty much over. But the item, the Stride Breaker we got right here, the reason we are building this is of course for the active as well, which just makes it a lot easier to set up the enemy champions. So it just makes everything easier honestly with your combos and team fighting and such, so that's why this is the item that you want to go for. And of course you also get a little bit of bonus movement speed whenever you proc that Blade of the Ruined King passive, so it does make it a bit harder for the opponents to escape once you have these two items. Now just going bot side because the dragon is up. Usually you want to be on the opposite side, but that is when you had TP. I am playing with Ignite, that's a lot better, especially if you play in lower elos, because you will be able to pick up a lot of solo kills. But because I have Ignite, I have to be close to the objective in order to be of help. In this case I do think they are fine, because my mid lane is just destroying everything on the map and there's a Yone top side, so we should be good to go. Also that ultimate, you can also do the flash ultimate, so you flash first and then you knock people back into your team. That also works, and that's also why when you play Sett in team fights, you can look to flank a lot, because if you get in from the behind and knock the AD carry into your team, he's done. Like he's completely done so. But a lot of different ways you can play him, and not sure what the support is doing. Looks like the kill is pretty tilted from playing bot lane, so she's just trying to troll the MF. Which luckily has not done a lot right now, the trolling so far, just because of how hard we are snowballing top and mid side. But just keep pushing it out guys, and then the next item, the Titanic Hydra. Lots of AoE damage means that a champion like Sett, who does not have very good wave clear, will suddenly be a good split pushing machine, because he can push out the waves really fast. On top of that you get a lot of HP. First of all, Titanic Hydra is going to convert your bonus HP into 80. And also, because of how your grid, like the W passive, scales with bonus HP, is also going to make it so you deal a lot more damage with your auto attacks, but also your W active, which scales off of your W or your HP. The full tank set, or if you want to play the one-shotting set with the W, you want to make sure that you're building a lot of HP items. And then make sure that you're not building a lot of armor or magic resistance. Because you want to be taking a lot of damage, but you also want to survive. If you're building armor, then you will not be taking as much damage. That means that your grid bar will be stacking up a lot slower, right? So that is not going to help you out a lot in teamfights. So just want to be building a lot of HP. That is going to allow you to go for that one-shotting build. But as I said, this is the most popular build in solo queue right now, and the most used build in this meta, because it just works so well into every matchup. He's immobile pretty much, but this build does help making up for it. And you can also get stuff like the Dead Man's Plate if you want to later on, which gives you more bonus movement speed. But as I said, remember, you mainly want to be building HP on this champion, besides, you know, attack speed and AD. Because you want to be receiving damage, but you also want to be surviving the damage. That is how you want to make sure that the grid bar stacks up really fast, so you can hit those W nukes. Just taking the rep off, and then we can look for the end right here, because this game is pretty much over, guys. You just need to group up. You have that massive spike, and you can just see how easily we are able to wave clear right now just because of the Titanic Hydra. So you can do the E into the Stride Breaker active, or you can use the Stride Breaker active first into the E. Really depends, both easily works most of the time. Just helps you actually catch up to people. And if Sett can catch up to people, he should be able to destroy them easily, as long as he's ahead. Or even into most matchups. Teammates are cleaning up, so we can just focus on pushing it out and take down the tower. And the base as well. Just remember when you're pushing or trading, remember to use that Q as an auto attack reset, but also let the second auto attack come out first, like the right punch, because it gives you extended auto attack range and also the damage. So let it come out first before you use the Q. But this was how to play Sett and his latest meta build. Hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching, guys, and see y'all next time.